Explain to us exactly what's going on with their deliveries and the problems around the 777.
Sure. Good afternoon. So yeah, Boeing announced today that, a delivery schedule for 2016 that looked a little bit light compared to last year, about 20 airplanes light. And so we were surprised by that, and I guess part of this is the transition to the new 737 MAX, which is the refresh of the Boeing 737. Airbus really didn't cut back production as they moved to their new airliner, their new narrow body. But Boeing is here. Perhaps there's a little bit of caution on Boeing's part. But that's going to cost them some deliveries in 2016, and that's going to knock down revenues and profits. And then into 2017, they announced that they're going to take down the 777 rate. The 777 is their most popular wide-body airplane. It's international flying over the ocean kind of airplane. They're going to knock that down from 8.3 per month to 7 per month. They didn't have a very good year last year trying to sell that airplane, and they're trying to transition it to the new version called the 777X, which comes in 2020. They don't quite make, they can't quite maintain production until they get to 777X now, so they're knocking that rate down. There's, I think, some risk here, too, that they'll have to do that again.
Okay, and why are they doing that? What's the problem?
Yeah, so again, they've refreshed this airplane for 2020. Airbus built a competitor to this airplane. It's a it's been a very, very strong seller for Boeing. It's been a very high margin airplane. It's, I would say it's almost as big as a 747, but has 2 engines and therefore is quite efficient. Airlines loved it. Boeing sold it very well, again, got high margins.
Right.
Airbus introduced the A350, which is a competitor to this airplane, the A350-1000, and now that's taking sales away from the 777. And especially now, if you're looking at the 777, you see a refresh coming in 2020, you'd probably prefer to have the new airplane. So those things are working against it, as is some of the slowdown in emerging markets, as we see some of those airplanes come out of those emerging markets, used versions of the same airplane of 777s, and look to find a home. People may want to buy the used rather than the new.
Right. So it sounds like it's a combination, right, George, between more competition from Airbus. And as you say, maybe a slowdown in particular in the emerging markets. I mean, is it a pretty balanced mix between the two, or is it more because of the competition from Airbus?
Well, I think it's the competition from Airbus is quite strong. The 350, which Airbus introduced to compete with the Boeing, it's got 700-800 orders behind it. So you could see they've sold it quite well. So it's competition's a large portion of it.
And what about the costs associated with the Dreamliner?
Yeah, so Dreamliner costs keep coming down. One of the challenges here for Boeing is that the Dreamliner is going to increasingly become more and more of their wide-body production. It's going to it's going to a rate of 12 next year. I mean, actually here in 2016.
Right.
And so the challenge is it makes low single-digit margins, where the 777 makes mid-double-digit margins. So the Dreamliner, they're bringing costs down, but they need to bring them down as quickly as possible so they can improve margins on an airplane that's is going to be the majority of the wide bodies that they sell in 2016 and beyond.